Hey everyone, welcome back to CBSE Learners. In our previous video, I have not given you the comprehension check of our lesson, right? So in our today's video, I am going to give you this comprehension check. Number one, why did the author go to Bridport? So what do you think why the author had gone to Bridport? Actually, the author went to Bridport to meet Mrs. Jim Macpherson. Next, number two, how old was Mrs. Macpherson now? Where was she? So, you have already read that the neighbor had said to the narrator that Mrs. Macpherson was 101 years old and she was in a nursing home which was in Burlington House on the Dorchester Road. Okay, so let's see what happens next and let's proceed further into the lesson. I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. There were paper chains up in the hallway and a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angle on top. So he found very easily the Burlington House nursing home. There were paper chains up in the hallway. So there was a paper chain in the hallway and a lighted Christmas tree. I said I was a friend come to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present. So to the authority he said that he is a friend of Mrs. Macpherson who had gone to visit Mrs. Macpherson to gift her a Christmas present. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. So through dining room he saw that everyone was there and they were making merrymaking. They were enjoying wearing a paper hat and they were singing song because of the Christmas Eve. The matron had a hat on too and seemed happy enough to see me. So the matron or the nurse or the attendant, she was wearing a hat too and she felt very happy to see him. She even offered me a mince pie. She walked me along the corridor. So she offered him a mince pie also and she took the narrator along with her to the corridor. Mrs. Macpherson is not in with the others, she told to me. So what she said to the narrator that Mrs. Macpherson is not along with other members of the nursing home. She rather confused today. She was feeling confused. She was not feeling well. So we thought it best if she had a good rest. So they thought that they should give her a good rest. To whom? To Mrs. Macpherson. She has no family, you know. No one visits. So I'm sure she'll be only too pleased to see you. So the matron said to the narrator that because Mrs. Macpherson is not having any family members left, so no one visits her. But if she will see the narrator, she is going to feel happy. Why? Because she is not having any family members to visit her. She took me into a conservatory with wicker chairs and potted plants all around and left me. So where she took the narrator, she took the narrator into a conservatory. Conservatory is a place or a room with glass all around, means glass windows, glass doors, and it's like a glass room with wicker chairs. Wicker chairs, in most of our home you will find wicker chairs. Wicker chairs are a chair which are made of a type of wood, or it looks like bamboo shoots. Okay, so it's a type of chair which is made up of a particular plant or a particular type of it is made up of a particular type of tree. Okay, so and potted plants all around and left me. So in a conservatory you will always find some wicker chairs and plants. Okay, and she took her to the conservatory and she left him. Now here they have given you word meanings once again. Became bright with happiness, excitement means lit up. Okay, lit up means became bright with happiness. This is very common to you all and you know very well this meaning. Suffused with. Now you know about confused, but do you know about suffused? Suffused means glow of happiness spread all over her face. Okay, let's proceed further into the lesson. The old lady was sitting in a wheelchair. Now it's time for the entry of Mrs. Macpherson. Okay, so what she was doing, she was sitting in a wheelchair, her hands folded in her lap. She kept her hands folded in her lap. She had silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun. So because she has grown old, she's supposed to have white hair only, which were turned into a wispy bun. She made a bun with those white hair. She was gazing out at the garden. She was looking out at the garden. "Hello," I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly. So she turned and looked at him vacantly. Why? Because she doesn't know the narrator, right? He was a stranger to her. "Happy Christmas, Connie," I went on. "I found this. I think it's yours." So her name was actually Connie. Okay, we have always addressed her as Mrs. Jim Macpherson, but actually her name was Connie Jim Macpherson. Okay, so he wished her happy Christmas, Connie, and he went on and he said that he found this by showing her the letter, and he said, "I think it's yours." As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. So as she was speaking, she didn't remove her sight from his face. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. So he opened the tin box and he gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. So when he gave her the tin box and he opened it for her, she felt very happy, and at that time he is feeling that now she can recognize something. Okay, what she can recognize? The tin box and the letter. And her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness, and she became very happy by seeing that box. I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. So he explained her about the desk and how he found the desk and how he found everything. He explained to the old lady, but he thought that she is not listening. For a while she said nothing, but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. But she touched the letter or stroked the letter very softly with her fingertips. Suddenly she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. Suddenly she reached out to the narrator and she took his hands. Her eyes were filled with tears. So he can see that she was supposed to cry. Her eyes were filled with tears. "You told me you'd come home by Christmas, dearest," she said, "and here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Come closer, Jim dear, sit down." But the lady, she thought the narrator as her husband Jim. Okay, so "you told me," she thought that narrator is only Jim. So she said that "you told me that you'd come by Christmas, dearest." She forgot everything and she started recognizing the narrator as a Jim Macpherson, okay, present, and she's saying that "this is the best Christmas present in the world. You come closer and sit down." I sat down beside her and she kissed my cheek. "I read your letters so often, Jim, every day. I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me. And now you are. Now you are back. You can read it to me yourself. Would you do that for me, Jim, dear? I just wanted to hear your voice again. I'd love that so much. And then perhaps we'll have some tea. I have made you a nice Christmas cake, marzipan all around. I know how much you love marzipan." So now she thought that the narrator or the author is only the Jim Macpherson, her husband. Okay, so she said her to sit down beside her, and she said that she had waited for him since long time, and now since he had come to her, she is requesting him to read the letter to her by himself. Okay, he is telling the narrator only to read because she is thinking the narrator as Jim. Okay, and then she said that then after you can read that letter to me, and after finishing or completion of your letter reading, we will just go and have some tea, and she is going to make a nice Christmas cake with his favorite, with Jim's favorite marzipan. Marzipan, you know, a sugar syrup or a decoration which this ganache actually, sugar syrup with eggs and almonds, okay, to like whipped cream, just to decorate the Christmas cake. I know how much you love marzipan, so it was actually the favorite cake or favorite food of the Jim McPherson. But she is thinking the narrator as a Jim McPherson, and she is telling that she is going to prepare for him. Okay, so I hope this lesson is clear to you and we have completed the total lesson. Now let's see the comprehension check. Who did Connie McPherson think her visitor was? Connie McPherson thought that it was her husband, Jim McPherson. Which sentence in the text shows that the visitor did not try to hide his identity? So which sentence shows that I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. Okay, he tried to explain her, but she actually didn't listen to him. Okay, so next we are going to discuss this walking with the text in our next video. Okay, so we are going to complete this lesson here. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you very much.